The Property Pod. Welcome to The Property Pod with Moneyweb. The property sector is an ever-changing sector. And in this podcast series, your host, Suren Naidu, chats to movers and shakers in the property industry.
Hello and welcome to The Property Pod, South Africa's premier property investor podcast. My name is Suren Naidu, and on this weekly podcast show, we gain insider insights from leading execs, analysts, developers and entrepreneurs in South Africa's dynamic property industry. Real estate investment trust Liberty 2 Degrees, or L2D, delisted from the JSE last week following majority shareholder Liberty Group's buyout deal of minorities being finalized. Liberty effectively is owned by banking giant Standard Bank Group now, as Liberty Group is one of the bank's subsidiaries. Joining me on the podcast this week is Amelia Beattie, the CEO of L2D, to share what's next for the group now that it has exited the JSE after almost 7 years trading on the bourse. Amelia, you have the honor of being the first guest to have been on this special Moneyweb podcast twice. This is your second time on the show, but the last time we chatted was back in 2021, just as COVID lockdowns were easing. A very warm welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Suren. I enjoyed talking to you.
What happens now that L2D has been officially delisted from the JSE? The group's year-end is in December, so does that mean there won't be any release of full year results publicly now?
That's correct, Suren. We delisted last week after nearly 7 years being listed, and we are now fully integrated and fully held by the Standard Bank Group. So our results will be going into the group's results, and we won't be doing our own public results.
Just for clarity, it's very big group, Standard Bank, so you won't necessarily be going into the details like trading densities and that sort of thing now. It'll be pretty much like for Sandton City, it'll be like an Old Mutual situation with Gateway, where it's somewhat private information, hey?
Yes, it's a big group, and as a business, we have really been very transparent in the information that we have shared with the market. Our information also is a benchmark in the property industry, so we will find ways in a different way to share this still with the market, because I think it's important that the property portfolio that we have continues to lead the way in the South African real estate market. We are a business line in the Investments and Asset Management business unit, which is one of the 4 business units in the Standard Bank Group. So we have our rightful place in the group, and the information or the portfolio that we run, we will continue to do so just as we've done it whilst we were listed. And the information will find its way into the industry benchmarks, because I think it is important.
Thanks for that, Amelia. You have been CEO of Liberty 2 Degrees since it was listed back in December 2016. That was at the peak of the listed property boom, as it were, as the sector was actually trading at a premium back then, not the huge discounts you see with some counters currently. Can you share some of your highlights and challenges during the 7 years? Obviously, COVID was almost smack bang in the middle.
Yes, that's correct. 7 years have gone so quickly, and they say short cycles are 7 years long. So I've had the privilege to list this company, to list it again as a corporate REIT in 2018 out of the old trust structure, and now to delist it. So it's almost a full circle for us as a team. I would think that there were so many highlights, and we reflected on it last week as we were having our delisting. There's so much to be grateful for. This industry offers us so many opportunities to do really great things. You've often heard me say that I don't have a passion for property, not only because of the bricks and mortar and the investment returns, but really for the difference that it makes to people's lives and the communities that it serves. And those were my biggest highlights, is to have been able to make a difference in the communities in which we operate. COVID was a huge challenge, but it was also a privilege for us to keep our malls full during that time, we saw a number of tenants stay with us, hold their hands, and our vacancies has really through this entire period stayed so low, and something that we are really proud of. The highlights are so many. I mean, the trading environments that we have created is really heartwarming to see when people just keep on coming back and really love these environments that we work in. Also, to have brought some new developments to the market have been interesting. And then last weekend, to be recognized by the Sunday Times in the top 100 companies over 5 years, having had a positive return, because at some point during that list of 100, it went into the negative. And I think that was kind of a real highlight to bow out of the JSE.
Well, I could be wrong, but I think you're one of the few REITs that have a positive over 5 years. Considering how things have gone haywire, in the listed property space particularly. You did highlight that it'll be a key part of the group, so there will be elements of the portfolio's performance. But will L2D still operate as a REIT in this current form? Is it, you mentioned that it's being absorbed into one of the units.
Yeah, so L2D can't be a REIT because to be the unlisted REIT legislation is not promulgated or has not come through in South Africa as yet. So a REIT has to be listed with more than one shareholder, and we clearly now only have one shareholder. So we won't be a REIT, but we will remain committed and active in the South African property industry. We are still here. We still play a key part in what we as a country have to offer in terms of real estate. So you will still see us and you will still experience what we do in our assets and some of the good things that we bring to market.
And for you personally, will you remain L2D CEO in 2024?
Yes, I will remain the CEO of L2D. I'm extremely proud leading this company. But I'm equally proud being part of the Standard Bank Group. It's a company that has Africa as a home, and I'm passionate about our country and about the continent. And I will try to continue to make a difference in the property industry, but also inside the group.
Turning to the business operations side of things, how is trade doing as L2D has a largely retail portfolio of iconic assets like Sandton City, Eastgate, and even a stake in Melrose Arch?
Yes, we have really extraordinary assets. The trading in our assets are doing so well, and it's wonderful to see how people have returned. People come where they really can find everything under one roof. We've spoken many a times over the last couple of years about super regionals and whether they are dead. And I think Sandton City, Eastgate, and our two regional malls really illustrate that retail is very much alive, and retail like ours, which are good quality and iconic and differentiated by the customer experiences that we offer, are really very much alive and will be contributing to the economy for many years to come. Also, our hotels have recovered unbelievably well and trading above where it used to previously, and as well as the convention center. And we're really proud of these assets. And my team has done an incredible job, and this is really their testament to what can be done in a retail environment.
Since it's November, it goes without saying it's Black Friday month. Are you ready for Black Friday and the festive season peak trading?
We are so ready for Black Friday and so ready for the festive season. Black Friday also comes with amazing deals for customers. And as last year, we have a number of places in our mall in Sandton where these deals will be exclusively done at Sandton by the retailers. So everyone needs to really watch out for that on our socials to be able to pick up those really incredible deals. And we're very excited for the festive season. We've got some great activations. That we have got Peppa Pig for those with small children at Eastgate. People love that. So that show will be there. And at Sandton, we've got the Momo show, which is a wonderful, heartwarming story done by the producers of the successful Nutcracker that we have had a few years ago. So I'm excited for our retailers because they're going to have a bumper trade, and really hope that it is a great season for them.
So Sandton City, on that note, turned 50 recently. Do you want to share anything on that?
What a wonderful celebration it was to have this asset turn 50 years from 1973 on a bonnet of a car, kind of conceptualizing that. And we're really today standing on the shoulders of those giants that conceptualized it, built it, and we have the privilege of looking after it. And hopefully for the next 50 years, it will continue to be a proud member of South Africa's assets. We had a really bumper month in September in our Sandton's trading, and I'm sure our retailers are as pleased with it as we are.
As a leading woman in property, having not just led L2D as CEO, but also being president of SAPOA back in 2014, I believe, and also chairing one of the committees at the SA REIT Association, can we conclude the podcast with some advice from yourself on two young women wanting to become a CEO like you one day?
I have so many pieces of advice for young women, but I'll summarize it in 3 small things that I hope they can remember. 1, it is not only about yourself, but it is to serve this industry that have been looking after us so well. So get involved in the industry bodies, get involved in SAPOA, get involved in SA REIT, get involved in Council of Shopping Centre, Green Building Council, because that's where you build your networks and that's where you get known for what you can deliver. Then I would say have a vision for yourself and make sure you are very, very clear about that so that you know where you are going and every step that you take is on that path. And the last will be about the power of yet. I wrote 3 articles earlier this year around the power of yet, yes, and yay. But the power of yet remains for me the most powerful of that. You are not the CEO yet. You are not the best in class yet. So have that vision. Make sure you make yet part of your vocabulary because it continues to give you hope, and make sure you believe in yourself. And that way you can really be anything you want to be. And also to remember, being a CEO is not the be all and end all of it. Everyone can be a leader in whatever they do as long as they can live their own passion out.
Well, we certainly need more women CEOs on the JSE. Amelia, I really appreciate your time. All the best. That was Amelia Beattie, CEO of Liberty 2 Degrees.
Thanks for listening to the Moneyweb Property Pod with Suren Naidu. To listen to more episodes, go to moneyweb.co.za or the Moneyweb app and follow Moneyweb News for daily updates. Follow Suren on Twitter @Suren Naidu for more of his property industry content and other business stories. The Property Pod.